Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be taking you through a 3-step process of how you can transform your forehand approach shot. We're going to be covering some technical stuff with your footwork, where you should hit your approach shot, and your positioning at the net. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do doesn't require any ball or any partner whatsoever. You can do this all by yourself. You're going to really focus on the footwork. Now, before I delve into the different types of footwork patterns that we're going to do, it's important to note that these footwork patterns are not set in stone. You can do different footwork patterns, what feels right in the moment. These are just the most common footwork patterns that you're going to use to transition to the net. So a really common mistake that I see at all levels of the game, but most commonly in the lower level of the game, is the way that you move towards the net. So you want the transition to be as fluid as possible. You're going to struggle to transition to the net if you have to stop, hit, and then move and go forward. Again, as I say, it's all tactically relevant on the different types of shot that you're hitting. There might be a time where you stop, you hit the ball, some person opens the strings and then you sneak in. That's not what we're working on today. We're working on the obvious approach shot where you choose to come in before you make contact with that ball on the approach. So what I see a lot is people run up to the ball, they'll stop, they'll try and hit their shot, and then they'll carry on running forward. And this never ends well, messes up the timing of the shot, and you're not going to transition to the net as quickly as possible. So what we're going to really focus on is this left foot hop and your right foot hop. The left foot hop is for balls that are going to be slightly more central in the court, around waist to shoulder height. You can get away with it. The right foot hop is going to be for balls that are a little bit wider out here and you need to cut back into the court. So going to start with the left foot hop, quite simply, the best way to do it is to move running forward side on, cross steps to the ball, and then you're going to hit and hop and transition forward. My favorite player who does this is Federer. He does it so well. You can find so many videos of him on the internet of him transitioning to the net with this left foot hop. So what you really want to focus on is the timing of the hop and the timing of the contact. So when you come up to the ball, you kind of want to be jumping just as you're accelerating through the ball. You're going to come up and transition forward to the net there. What commonly happens here is you're going to be way too close to the ball on this one. What a lot of people do is they'll run forward, they'll try and get that hop in, they end up being too close to the ball and missing it. So the best way to fix this is to focus on that split step. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to be on the baseline, you're going to be in a rally, you're probably going to be in cross court, you might get that short ball, and then what's going to happen is you need to move forward. And what you don't want to do is run forward with your hips facing forward. You want to get side on as early as possible, so you naturally get those crossovers moving to the ball. Best way to do that is to do a turning split step, and that looks like this. So you jump up on both feet, land on your right foot, and place down on your left foot. So we're going to be here, and you're going to really push yourself forward, and you're going to get to the ball much quicker that way. So all together, into the shot now, it's going to look like this. Next one you're going to practice is when the ball's slightly wider. You're not going to be going for this split and turning here, but you move towards that wider ball, so your hips are generally going to be facing towards the net. So you're going to be coming in here, you're going to run, and you've got to hop and hit on the right foot and then cut back into the court. What you don't want to do is carry on that momentum moving away from the court. So you don't want to be here, hopping, and then carrying on going this way, falling off, and then there's no way you can recover for the next shot. So it's really important for this wider one. This is a more tougher one on that right foot hop. You can go here, hop, and then you change that direction into the court. So you're going out here, and then back into the court. Change that momentum. This requires strength in the outside leg. So if you do any physical exercises, this is where your single leg work is going to be so important. You can be here, up, and then cut back into the court. So to start with, the first exercise that you can do is literally just practicing those 2 footwork patterns there. So you're going to be here for the one where it's left foot hop, slightly more central, jump up, push, up, hit, and then you can stop there. And for the wider one, you're going to be here, imagine a wider ball, hop, and then cutting back in. Okay, so the next progression here is going to be, where do you want to hit your shot? So obviously you can approach anywhere. You could go into the juice side, you could go into the ad side. If your opponent's got a weaker backhand, you can go there. I think statistically, the most common and the way that you're going to get the most points is to approaching to your opponent's weaker side, which is generally that backhand side. So for right-handed players, that means you're going to be approaching down the line. And that means you're going to want to be recovering to around where I'm drawing this right now here. Slightly off center towards that juice side. That way you're going to be able to cover both the down the line pass and the cross court pass. I can cover that in 1, 2 steps here. And I can cover that one in 1, 2 steps here. What you got to think is, where have you hit your shot and what are the 2 best shots your opponent can hit back at you? Straight down the line here. The best shot that they could possibly hit would be straight down the line back, and that's going to be crossing the net here. Or they could hit a cross-court angle winner, and that could be here. And where's that going to cross the net? If we follow that line, that's going to be coming and crossing the net probably around here. So if we go back to our mark here, you can see those two places there. And if we overlay where I was hitting my shots before when I covered it in 2 steps, I'm going to be covering those 2 places pretty much every time. Another reason why you want to approach generally down the line here and towards that right-handed backhand is because of that place where we need to recover to. So if I'm going for that wider approach, which is the right foot hop here, for me to get from this mark all the way to the other side, if I approach to the forehand on the other side, that's a long distance for me to go. Whereas if I approach down the line to get from here to this point over here is way quicker. If you have a more central ball and you're going to be going for that left foot hop here, it's up to you. You can go towards that forehand side of right-handed player and then you can cover it here, and it's just the same thing in reverse. When you're practicing those 2 footwork patterns, you want to try and get to that point as quickly as you can. So it's going to look like this. And you're going to want to split step in that point. And the same thing for if it's that wider approach shot, you're going to be here, you're going to be coming here, right, and then recovering back into that split step position around here. Okay, so we've got 2 progressions here where we're not hitting with our partner, we're playing by ourselves, and we're just practicing that footwork. The next progression is going to be with actual hand feeding. So what you're going to do is you're going to feed the ball on this side of the net. This time you need a partner to help feed that ball to you. You're going to feed a high short ball central to practice that left foot hop, and then a slightly wider one to practice that right hop there. So it's exactly the same as you've just done without the ball, this time with the ball. And what's a good idea to do to make it less predictable once you start getting the feeling for it is to chuck in a much higher short ball. Because you are going to get a couple times where it's a really high short ball. It's going to be too tough to go for the left foot hop because the ball is going to be up here. And what you'll need to do there, you'll do your more common, what most of you will feel comfortable with, is that semi-open stance position where you just load, you drive in, and then you can transition from there. So hand feed the balls here, you're going to be going for the right hop, the left hop, and then chuck in a really high short ball, and you can do your semi-open load into the ball. So it's important to remember when you're doing the hand feeding, make sure you're hitting your shot in a tactically relevant place. So again, as I said before, if it's wider, make sure you go line so you have less space to recover to. And if it's central, then you can go to either side, but probably towards that backhand is where you're going to get the best results if you're playing a point. Now, again, this isn't set in stone. You can deviate from this plan as long as it's tactically the right thing to do. If they hit down the line and they're off the court over there, then yeah, do a right hop, transition to the net and go across court because they're probably not going to get there. Once you get comfortable with the hand feeding, then you can progress onto racket fed on the other side. So then someone can drop the ball, they can feed it in, and then you can try and execute the pattern with a bit more of a live ball coming towards you with a bit more speed, and then you can progress it further. Then you can go for a rally-based situation. You can go in the rallying cross court. As soon as you get that shorter ball, transition to the net, go line or back behind if you want to, and then you can play out the point from there. So there's lots of different progressions you can do with this. But remember, I wouldn't progress too quickly if you haven't got it down. Make sure you get the technical stuff with your footwork correct before you move on to anything where you're actually hitting a ball. And once you get it with the hand feeds, move on to the racket feeds, and then you can do it in a rally situation and then progress that rally situation into an actual point. So I hope this has given you some ways in which you can practice your forehand approach shot, giving you some clarity, an actual plan of how to improve it. And I'm just going to finish off showing a couple points of me playing the last progression, an actual point situation where we rally cross court. I look for that short ball and then execute the correct footwork pattern in a tactically relevant place with my shot.